Well, hello, farming friends, and welcome back to another edition of Farming Simulator 2015 with me, your old buddy, Mr. Moose. And as you can see, we are back here on our potato field and ready to move forward. Now, I did go ahead and cut a couple of more hedgerows, so we're now about 3-4 hedgerows into this, and we're ready to start doing our east-west runs on this particular field. Now, I'm going to use course play to do this, so we can go do some other stuff. So we're going to set this up and get it going. So we need to be in field work mode because that's the way this will work. And we're going to go into course generation. Now we're in field number 33. So let's get that set up. Calculate our working field width, which is going to be 30.3 meters. We're starting up here in the northeast corner and we're going to be going east to west. So we'll set that up northeast. Starting direction is headed west. Now I've set this up to say that we're going to run 4 headlands is what I want it to look at. So let's go ahead, generate that course and see where that puts us. Now notice how 4 headlands is out here just a little bit from here. That's what I want. I want it to run all the way to here before it picks up the head. If I had the line right here, it would leave some of this unharvested. So by having an extra hedgerow cut, I get it all the way out to here before it picks up the elements or the head, you know, the cutting head, and that way I get everything right. So that was my whole premise for going ahead and pre-cutting a few headlands, is so that I have that little cushion there before it starts making its turns. So now that that is set and ready to go, we're just going to pull in here just a little bit so that I'm underneath there. And all I have to do is engage the course and say drive course. And it is going to pick up doing what it was doing. I'm going to tell this guy to start the driver so he can come and start unloading. And I'll get rid of this course so we don't have to look at it anymore. And that is going to do its thing. And so while that guy's running, we are going to jump over. And there's our grass mower running right now. And we're going to fire this guy up so we can go get our work in the BGA done. Because we do have... we've got some silage ready to be moved in the BGA. So I'm going to need this guy. And I am going to need a tipper. And I'm going to go get a big tipper that I've got from back when we did wood chips. I haven't been using this guy because it is so big. But I was using it when we were doing wood chips a long time ago. And I've just had it stored because I really haven't had the equipment big enough to work with it. I probably do now. With that big combine, we probably could use this tipper. But I had, like I said, when I had that high demand on wood chips and we had a little bit of money coming in, I bought this guy so I could make extra trips. Or I could haul more in a single trip to the wood chip bin without continuously having to make runs. So in here I have a really big tipper stored. And we're going to move that over to the BGA and use it there. So as soon as we back up here, come on, trigger. I hate the fact that that lowers my weight every time. This is where I've got all my forestry stuff tucked away right now. So we got this big agroliner that I got, like I said, it holds like 40,000 liters. And we're going to use it over at the BGA to move our silage. So let's head on over to the other road and move to the BGA. So if you recall, the way I'm doing this is I'm using the conveyor belt to load the silage into the trailer, then reposition the conveyor belt and dump the silage out of the trailer into onto the conveyor belt into the BGA. So, oh, there's still some apples in here. Crud. I gotta go dump those out real quick over at the sell point. I didn't realize there were apples in there. That was one of those things. I ran through the apple field, and when I did, I picked up a few apples on the way through it, and never did dump them out of there. So we got to go over to the store real quick and dump these out real fast. So yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of late work on this tonight because of the rental situation with the harvester. Basically, I'm going to run it until we get this field unloaded. Once the field is done and all we've got is that one field left to do, then I think we'll take a break and let the crew rest and pick back up around 5 in the morning after everybody's had a good little sleep. By then the wheat fields will be ready for harvest, as well as everything else we got going on. Alright, shortcut across the field again because, well, we can. Alright. Well, I see we have a little problem here, and I don't know what causes that. But if you notice, our every once in a while I get a little glitch like this where this guy wants to drive in circles and not find his route. And you just have to let him do his thing and he'll pick back up and go, which it just messes everything up. He's completely full and needs to go dump, so I don't know what glitched right there and if he's going to actually do everything right. Looks like he is. So yeah, now I'm just burning money because my hired hand in the harvester is just sitting there. That's the one thing with Courseplay. You gotta watch what's going on. It helps to have an app like Glance running, where you can look up in the corner periodically and see what everybody's doing, because right now I can see in Glance, and you can't really see that, but I can see that my harvester's at 100% and that my transporter is 100%, and the only way for that to happen is if something has glitched out, and it will appear in red up there and I will know what's going on. I can see also that my guy doing the mowing is at 96%, that he'll be coming out of this field pretty quick, which I'm gonna have to pay attention to where he's at while I'm working in the BGA, because I don't want to get in his way and impede his progress. So it's a balancing act. You just kind of have to know where everybody's at all times, what's going on. So what we'll do is we'll back this guy into here. Get him set up so that we can dump into it. That should be pretty good right there. And then we'll go get the combine, or the conveyor belt, and we'll put it into the facility. And then we'll just load up that trailer, and then once it's loaded we'll come over here. Oops, there we go. Alright, so you can see that my tractor is coming in with its grass. And gonna back in real quick and dump out its load. So that guy's running course plate. He's running dual courses. He's running one to mow the grass, and then the second one when he's full to bring him in here. And if you haven't watched my video on how to do that sort of automation, I do have that on my in my course plate tutorial, so check that out. Now there is a new version of this particular conveyor that I probably need to get. It allows you to, I love that swing action on that arm. It allows you to actually control the conveyor belt from the ground without having a tractor hooked to it, which I kind of dig that. However, you got to make some changes, and there's some other little issues with it that I just don't feel like dealing with, so I haven't really made any changes to it. So we'll get that guy completely loaded up, which it looks like it is, and we will head over. And that worked out so good right there. We'll head this guy over here, put it in place, and we'll be ready to start making some money again with the BGA. So yeah, we'll drop that right there, go get the trailer, and then we can pull around and we'll start unloading, and it'll take time. Remember, it's a process where we dump a little bit, let it make its money, and then we come back, dump some more. Anywho, so we'll just kind of swing around here so I can line up on that conveyor right. Try not be sticking too far out to mess with the progress of my other tractor when it comes in. Well, look at that thing shake. Alright, should get a little tip icon right about. Whew, that tractor's got the jiggles and wiggles. Alright, so that'll get quite a bit out of it real quick here. I gotta be careful not to waste too much of my silage. Come on now. There we go. Alright, so that's gonna fill up that BGA and that's gonna run. And as it does, we'll get some more money in. And hopefully we'll get about 200,000 out of this. At least 100,000 we'll get out of it. So when we do, we'll make a little bit more cashola. And I think, you know, one of the purchases we'll make this time will be our lime spreader, but we'll also probably pick up, as much as I've been avoiding it, probably go ahead and pick up a front loader, and then we won't have to do this whole little process anymore. Though this works, it's just takes a lot of time to get it done. And if we went ahead and just got a front loader and automated it, you could just sit here and do all this for us. But yeah, it's getting it done. Alright, so while that's working, we're going to look at our map real quick. We never did get to 110% productivity, and I'm not really sure why, even with the earth fruit in there. So that's not working out the way I thought it would. And we're still waiting on these guys to mature. This guy is dark blue and should be maturing any moment now. And so that's where we're at with everything. I love this trailer, how it's got that arm It pushes everything to the back of the trailer and pushes it out. I like that. That's pretty cool. Never had a trailer that would do that. I've always had tippers or trailers with side doors on it, or bottom gates. I just keep filling a little bit in there every time. This is going to take a while, actually. Oh, there's got to be something else we can go do while we're waiting on this. I'm trying to think of it in my head. What's happening? Number one reason for wanting to buy a front loader, and if I do, I'll probably just get the 6810 like this, or I might get the skid steer, one of the two. But my reason for getting it is twofold. One, we're gonna have to muck out our pigs and get that done, and at the same time we could use it over here, so we could get two things done with it. I'd love to get the skid steer and mess around with it, but at the same time I like that 6810's a lot cheaper than the skid steer, or we could get the baby New Holland. Looking in the store real quick, the New Holland is very cheap. This guy here, I don't know if you realize it or not, this guy here can be a front loader, but it's $64,000, and yeah, that's kind of steep. Whereas the but I think the skid steer's 150 something. Oh, the skid steer's only 49,000. So yeah, we could get it and the bucket and be in business. Sounds like a game plan, doesn't it? Manure fork. Universal bucket does everything, though I don't know why you'd want the manure fork. So why don't we do that then? We'll just get the skid steer and purchase that. And we'll purchase the universal bucket. And we'll be done with that. And while this does its thing, we can go get... it created us down to $1,200. Shoo, we're going to need every penny out of this puppy. So yeah, let's go get the skid steer and bring it over. And... so something I haven't pointed out with the skid steer, and I don't know if it's my imagination, but it seems like it turns a lot faster to the right than it does to the left. I usually, when I end up spinning around in a circle really fast, it's when I try to steer to the right versus the left. And I looked at the wireframe one day on it, and if you look, you see the little white lines, and they're really apparent when you turn out. See how those move, and they're almost look a little yellow right now. See those little lines on the wheels? That's what's actually the wheels that are turning. That little wireframe shows you. And see how slow it seems to move? Like when I turn it to the left, you see the wheels turn to the left pretty slowly. When I turn to the right, they seem to move a lot faster on the right side. So from center, they seem to move a little bit faster on the right. Maybe it's my imagination, but and it seems like every time I spin out, it's when I'm turning to the right. Again, I could just be crazy on that. So now we've got our little skid steer. We can use it to muck out our pig pens as well as our beef pen, and we can get those cleaned out, because I did notice a little manure starting to pick up in there, and then we can take it over to the BGA and do some BGA work with it. One thing I found on this map the other day, and I'm going to point this out now, I mentioned it a couple of days ago in a video. There's a little issue with these pig pens, and It sort of drives me nuts, but nothing I can really do about it. I'm sure the developer's not going to come back and fix this. But there are no triggers on the manure pits over here. And I'll show you that in just a second when we get over here. So one of two things can happen when the map designer puts this in. They can put in a manure pit that automatically takes the manure out of the facility and puts it into the manure pit, or you can have a trigger set up so the person mucks out their facility and then they manually put it in here. But to do that, there has to be a trigger for me to do that. So if we come over here and we look at this manure pit, and I go back into the wireframe on this, as you can see, there's no trigger here. There's not a trigger 1 on this thing. It's just the wireframe for the pit, and that's it. So I don't see any sort of trigger for that at all. See the little boxes over there by the grains and such? You should see a little box like that right here. So there's nowhere for me to actually dump the manure, and I can't do it on the other one either. There's no wireframe. There's no trigger there for those as well. But if I do come in the door, like I said, there's manure in the floor, and it does need to be mucked out. So we'll pull up here, and as we come in here, you'll see a little bit of manure on the ground there. So if we put our blade down and start scooping on up through here, we should pick up manure. So we picked up a full bucket of manure, and I'm back out now. And without a trigger point, if I dump it out right there, it's just going to dump onto the ground, and I'm not going to get anything out of it. It won't make any kind of manure pile, and basically I'll just be dumping manure out and I'll lose it. So I wouldn't be able to use it down the road for anything. And if I come over here, you'll see the same thing on this particular trough as well. Again, if I go into the wireframe for it, I won't see any sort of trigger at all over here for the manure. Which is a bummer, because I wanted to put my manure here. And unfortunately, the manure pit for the dairy, all that is done off of an automated trigger, so that automatically just puts the manure over there. So there's no way I can haul it over there and just dump it. So what do I do? How do I get my manure mucked out and still save it? Well, the solution is placeable heaps. And if you haven't used that mod yet, it's something you can download. What it allows you to do is put a heap wherever you want it. It's you download it, install it, just drop it into your mods folder, and in your placeables under mods, you're going to get a little icon right here from More 2000 Placeable Heaps. There's no cost for it, so it's not going to cost me anything, but it allows me to make a heap wherever I want it. And so I'm going to pull over here, and right here, as far as I can get into the manure pit, I'm going to put that little icon down. That's going to give me a place where I can have a heap. And basically what that does, it just puts a trigger down. So if I go in, now I've got to see that little cone there that's popped up. That's my wireframe that tells me where my heap is. And now I can just pull over here, get right inside of that cone, pull my bucket up, dump, and now I'm actually building a manure heap. So solution, not necessarily how I wanted to do it, but I would prefer that it just does it on its own. But sometimes you have to come up with solutions when you find errors like that in the game. So let's jump back over here. I need to hit that. We'll get rid of that wireframe, and we need to get some more money coming in so we don't go broke because we bought a front loader. And we'll finish mucking out those stalls real quick while all these guys do their thing. So I'll go ahead and muck out these pits while we're here, and then we'll take this guy over to the BGA and we will automate him to finish up that work. So yeah. So if you're playing this map and you get to the point where you're needing to get the manure out of here, because I'll tell you what, on my I was doing the reason I found this is I was doing a test map, and I put like 200 pigs in here, and they filled it up with manure real quick. And I mean, manure was everywhere. It was, you know, on the walls, in the floor. It was everywhere but in the pit. And it was kind of shocking. So I had to come in here with a conveyor belt in order to get the manure out. I had to use a conveyor belt, and yeah. And then I was trying to figure out, well, I started out with a front loader, and I was trying to scoop it out with a front loader, but I couldn't. Every time I go to dump it into the manure pit, I wasn't getting it to register. And I was wondering at that point, why am I not getting the manure? Why is it building up? And so I quickly realized something was wrong. Why am I not getting manure now? Let's put my blade down a little bit more and we'll scoop up some manure here. There we go. Oops. Oops. So, by the way, if you're running this thing, it's a good idea to have four-wheel drive and all your diff locks on. It seems to control a little bit better as well when you do that. You'll have a little bit better control. So we'll run out here, raise the roof, and we'll just pull over here to our heap, and yeah, this will be where we put our manure from now on, over here. I'm not a big fan of placeable heaps, and I'm gonna find another option. There is a from what I understand, there is a manure mod out. Talking to Raven over the weekend, he was talking about he had a manure mod that allowed you a manure storage without having to use placeable heaps. So I'm going to look into that, and if I find that, I'll probably add that in. It's kind of nice to be able to turn around in here slowly but surely. This thing is a little bit touchy on the controls though. It almost moves too fast. Alright, so I think that's all the manure out of here. So these guys are mucked out. Like I said, I just wanted to show you guys that in case somebody's playing this map and they're wondering why they can't get their manure out of here. That's the issue with it. So yeah, keep that in mind. Alright, let's put our bucket down and we'll head over to the BGA. Looks like our grass mower has finished mowing grass, so we'll go ahead and go deal with that as well. Fastest way to get over there is gonna be a shortcut, I think. I think if we cut across this field, the BGA will be right over there. So yeah. So what we'll do is we'll head over to the BGA, which is right due south of us right now. We'll get over here to the blacktop right over there. And we'll move everything out of the way, and we will automate this guy with course play to using the shovel mode. We'll automate this guy to go ahead and just transfer all of our silage for us, and it'll be a slow and steady operation. And that way we can free up the rest of the equipment. And now we'll have ourselves a little front loader that we can use around the farm as well, whenever we need it. pretty much don't see it doing anything but what we just did. Might find some, when we get a little bit of money, we'll get us a trailer and a vehicle, and that way we can just load this guy up on a trailer and we can tow it back and forth between the animal housing and the BGA, and that way when we need it over here we can keep it over here, and then when we need it over there we can trailer it over there, unload it, do our work, and then trailer it back over here. Alright, so we'll get this guy here. Let me go stop our grass mower so we don't lose any money on him, but I don't think it costs any money when he's not actually moving, so I don't think it's a big deal. But it's a good practice to get him out of there so we can go ahead and get him dumped, and that way he won't be in the way when we're doing our BGA work. Plus I'm sure he needs a little gas. So we started out with 32,000 and now we're just about broke, but we do have plenty of silage to move and make money for us. Let's dump this again, get some more money coming in. Oh yeah, almost up to 15,000. We'll get this guy out of the way for now because we don't need him. Pull this over here to the side, and then we'll go park it elsewhere. Alright, drop that there, and then let's see if I can thread the needle here. Oh yeah. And that's not cleared all the way out, so we can't really move it yet. Oops, I do that all the time. I wasn't completely centered on that. There we go. I think we're good. I think we can get that out of the way. So let's just move that there. And we'll get out and go dump our grass, and then we can automate our little front loader, and that will be our episode for today. So we get this guy turned around, back him in there like so. Oops. Come on, straighten up. Almost got this thing filled up, so we'll have to compact it and I think one more field will do it, and then we can ferment this stack and we'll have more silage that we can sell off. That's a ton of silage, isn't it? Alright, look how much gas we got. We're going to pull this guy over here and refill him before we do any more work with him. So we'll park him over here next to the gas tank and shut him off, turn off the lights, and I'll come back to that one. Let's see, tab through. There we go. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the shovel mode on this in course play to automate this guy to do our BGA work. So the way we do this is, if you haven't seen it before, we're going to back up just a little bit, and I'm going to start recording a course. And again, we're using this fill and empty shovel mode, which is the furthest down on the right. And when you do that, it'll activate your shovel positions. And so we're going to just start recording right here. And hello, I didn't get a dot. Wonder if these guys work with course play. I have not tried this. Holy smokes. Oh, there it is. It's so small I couldn't see it. I gotta bring my camera angle out. So stop recording. Back up to where we wanted to start from. And I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit so I can actually see my recording dots. And we're gonna, just for purposes of being able to get up in here, I'm gonna go ahead and raise my bucket in the air. And we'll start recording right about the brown. Alright, start recording. Go forward just a little bit. When we get to the mouth of the BGA, we'll go ahead and put in our first waypoint, and that will tell us that this is where we start the loading process. And we'll climb up this thing. Oh, this is not going to be fun to try and work with course play. This is the first time I've tried to do this with this little front loader, so it's definitely going to be interesting. You go all the way to the end of the bin, and you mark that as your ending waypoint. Then switch into reverse so you can tell it how to get out of here. It's going to back up. Come on, back out. There we go, back out. And we'll just make a gradual turn out of this thing. Switch forward gear. We're going to pull forward, making our way over to the BGA. And then we're going to need, we are going to need a platform. Oh, no we're not. We'll be able to get in there. Alright, so we'll set that as our waypoint. There we go. Now we'll back out of it. Gradual turn out. Put back into forward gear. And we will drive over and come back around to our start point so that the whole thing works in a big gold circle. Now the next thing I have to do is I have to set my, that part's good, I have to set my shovel position. So I know all the way up is going to be, all the way up, bucket tilted back is going to be my preload position. So let's go in here and set this up for you. Loading position, of course that is going to be all the way down to the ground, and we are going to set our blade sort of parallel to the ground. So we come down parallel to the ground, maybe a little bit more like that. That is our loading position. So with that in place, I click here, it says okay, that one's good to go. Transfer position, for me that's just tilted up like that off of the ground, not very high, that way you keep a low center of gravity. That's my transport position. Pre-unloading position, as we saw, we need our bucket all the way up in the air so that we can get over the edge. And you know, something like that would be our preloading position. We'll set that, and then our unloading position of course is just going to tip the bucket like so. There we go, unloading position, and that should be everything we need. So let's test it out and see if it works. Drive course. Wiggle wiggle, wiggle wiggle. Ooh, this doesn't work really well with course play, does it? Ho ho! Wow, that's not good. Course play and the skid steer are not friends. We're really gonna have to lower our speeds down. Whoa, that's making me dizzy. This is funny. Really gonna have to stop this for a second. Whoa, stop. Wow, we're gonna have to make some adjustments here because that is crazy. Let's lower our speed down almost to nothing, because That's too fast for it to run. Let's try 6 miles an hour and see if that will work, because that was crazy. Okay, I'm thinking Horseplay and the skid steer are not going to work together. This is ridiculous. I mean, this looks like somebody's using an Etch-a-Sketch to just draw squiggly lines on the ground. This might be a situation where we revert back to the other thing. Ooh, hello. Stop. This is just not going to work. I give up. That didn't work. So, it's either going to be manual skid steer work in the BGA, or stick with the old conveyor belt, because that's ridiculous. See how this works. There we go. So yeah, I think we're going to have to just do this manually, because Horseplay is not going to cooperate. So you learn something new every day. Yeah. Unless you just want to watch, get dizzy watching the skid steer drive around in little circles. Horseplay and the skid steer are not a good combination. So we'll just have to do this manually and get it knocked out, which is not fun. It's hours of entertainment. But the money's got to come in somehow. Yeah, I think we might go back to the conveyor belt for a little bit, just to get it done in bulk. I mean, if you like running the skids here, maybe this is your thing. Me personally, no. I thought this was going to work for us, though. I mean, it is a solution, but crazy. So 8 miles an hour is supposed to be your max on this thing. Maybe I record it one more time at 3 miles an hour and see if that works. See, the one thing I hate about this is I can't see my bucket and know what it's doing from the first person view. Pretty much have to drive it third person. That's what I hate about those elevated the elevated BGAs and things like that, composters, things of that nature. You can't see them to tell what they're doing. This will work. You're just gonna have to sit here and spend an entire episode. You know, it'll take several hours to do this way. Or better if you had if you had a G27 and a joystick, this would be awesome. Or if you had dual joysticks. We had that conversation the other. You can't really run dual joysticks with this. We were talking about it the other day, Recon and I, and we were trying to calculate how you could set your joysticks up, but Horseplay doesn't see a skid steer like you think it sees a skid steer. It's not reversing one side to pivot. It's just turning wheels, imaginary wheels. So you don't have a forward and reverse per side, so you can't set it up with dual joysticks. You just have to use a steering wheel like a G27 and do it that way. It would be cool if they saw it that way. You could use, you could set your dual joysticks up and you could have, left side, forward, back, and then you could do one side tilts your bucket up, raises your arm, and the other side tilts your bucket, which if you've ever driven a skid steer, that's not the way that works. Your levers control front and back, forward and back motion on your forward and back motion on your wheels, and then you've got pedals down in the floor, and the pedals are what you use to lift the arm and tilt your bucket. So you have two little pedals that your feet are sitting on, and how you tilt those pedals are the controls for the bucket. One of them tilts your bucket up and down, and the other one raises and lowers it. So you wouldn't really use the right left of your arm to control that. Pretty much your levers inside your skid steer are forward and backwards. Alright, so this is where we're at. We've got potatoes harvesting. We'll go take a look at them in just a second and see where they're at. And I'm going to be sitting here with the skid steer, deciding on whether it's something I want to keep on doing, or if I want to just pull the conveyor belt in here. And I might mess with course play at 3 miles an hour and see if it wants to work that way. Because it shouldn't be spinning around like that. That's just odd that it does it. You know what? I'm a glutton for punishment. I'll do it again in just a moment and see if I can get it right. But for now, we've got some money coming in. We're almost up to where we were when the episode started, which is good. We picked up a piece of machinery. We've got some more work done, and all is good in the world. So yeah, I can't complain too much. Let's see where we're at here. These guys continue to work, and this guy just got back. This guy is continuing to harvest. He is going to drive through the tower like it's not even there. Let's look at where we are with our harvest so far. We talked about we had about 245,000 potatoes. We're about 200,000 more in, and we still got quite a bit of this field to go. So yeah, we're gonna be rolling in potatoes here shortly. This field not right ready to harvest yet, so hopefully it's gonna click on over. So it's getting up in the evening. It's about 8 o'clock. So yeah, I think the game plan is going to be to let this field finish on up harvesting. We'll do that. I'll work on the BGA a little bit, and when we come back, we'll be ready to harvest our last field, probably hit some wheat, and maybe finish up, and I'll let you know what I came up with in the BGA with our little guy. But, oh man, this thing's still missing some spots over there. That's a bummer. I want to see how this guy picked up and why we missed so much. Did I not give it enough room? That one's fine. Is it coming in and dropping too fast? Ah, that's what it is. Well, maybe it hit a tree or something. I don't know why it missed so much spots over there. So we're going to have to clean up a little bit on this field as well. Alright guys, well thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, thumbs up, give me a like. It does matter to me, and helps out a lot. Then also subscribe to the channel if you haven't so far. I do new videos every day, so there's always something for you to watch. And come on back tomorrow and we'll do it again. Thanks for watching guys. Until then, stay safe, have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks again for watching this video, and if you made it all the way to the end, well, maybe you liked it. So give me a big old thumbs up. That like goes a long way. Also, subscribe to this channel. I will update the videos every single day, so there'll always be something new for you to see. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come back again tomorrow. Thanks for your support.